Alright guys, let's get started on this blanket stitch. What we're gonna do first is we're gonna take our needle, right there, and then we're gonna pick an edge of this thread. We're gonna go with this edge right here. Now, on normal cases, we would usually just make the edge of our fingers and we'll twist this to get this short fine point, and then we would put the thread through the needle. But for this right now, and the needle, you're gonna put the thread through the eye of the needle, right there. But for this, we're going to grab our needle threader, which is over here. Don't mind that it's a little broken. This happens really easy, so it's okay if it happens to you. But we'll pick up our wire and our needle. And what we'll do is we will put this wire end through the eye of the needle first. And what you'll see, the more you use these, the more bent they end up looking. So I'm gonna open this up really quick. When you're doing this project at home, you'll end up probably using this hopefully no more than a couple of times. No more than once if your thread doesn't come loose from your needle. And that's what we hope for. If it does, then I'll show you something to help try to prevent it from coming out of your needle. All right, so we've got it through the needle. Now we're just gonna take our thread, we're gonna push it up through the wire, just like that. I'll pull it out. Now we'll just take the wire and we will pull it through the needle. If this were whole, it would look like this with the two wires trapped right here. When you have your hole in, I want you to grab it where the wire's at, not back here. That'll prevent you from breaking it as easily. Since it's already broken, we're just gonna grab the two wires right here and we will pull the thread through the eye of the needle. Sometimes it can be just a little tough once they're broken, but it's still doable. All right, right there. Pulled it all the way through. And we'll go ahead and set our threader off to the side. Now we have our threaded needle. That tip I was gonna show you is we have two sides of this thread. We have this really long side and this short side. To help, there are two things that could happen. If this short side gets way too long, it'll get stuck as you're doing your stitches. So we're gonna pull it and keep it no longer than our fingers. You could go a little bit longer, but we wanna keep it short. If you get it too short, you'll often end up losing this thread and it'll slip through your needle and you'll have to rethread your needle. So don't get it too short because then it'll slip through. So about finger length is good. Any longer and it could get stuck. There we are, we've threaded the needle. Now we're gonna go to the opposite end of our thread. And on this side, we've got to tie a knot. So we're gonna wrap around our finger and then we're going to tuck thread under, through, just pull that knot right there. Yep, that is all we need. Now we're ready to put our stitches into our fabric. Now we can see we have two hearts. We're gonna just line these up really quick. And then, let's try to get those points all lined up. Okay. Now you can see that there are two pieces of fabric here. We're gonna flip this first one up just like that. And then we're gonna poke the needle through about right here. Now you can start anywhere you want. You could start now down at the bottom, you could start higher up, but I'm gonna start about right there. So we're gonna poke the needle through the fabric right there. And then we're gonna pull it through. We're gonna pull all the way through until you feel that you hit that knot. Now if we look, thread's only through one piece of fabric. And then we've got this tail right here. Because it's only through one piece of fabric, we can hide it inside the heart, and now you can't see it. Makes it super, super helpful. Now we're gonna come back with our needle, and we're gonna poke it through with the back side in the same location. So that way when the needle comes through, it looks like it's coming out next to or in the same spot as our thread in that first time we pulled it through. And this will help make it look like it's coming through the same spot. And then we're gonna pull the thread almost all the way through. We're gonna leave a loop, as you can see right there. Now we're gonna take our needle and we're gonna poke it down through that loop, straight down through. And then we'll pull that all the way through and we'll pull it tight. Be careful, sometimes if your thread is super long, it can get knotted, but that's not too bad of a problem. Now we have our first stitch. For our second stitch, we're gonna come from the back side and poke our needle through again. We always wanna come through the same side. If we're coming through the top and from the back, then it's just gonna get super messy. So we always wanna come through the back. And we're gonna go over about the same length as this stitch. So we'll go over about right there and down. Come out about right there. And we're going through 2 pieces of fabric this time. And we're gonna pull the needle through. And then we're gonna pull the thread almost all the way, leaving that loop again. And then we're gonna poke the needle straight down through the loop and then pull the needle all the way through. Get it nice and tight. And that is your second stitch. Now, if you guys have got this down, go ahead and keep going. Go about halfway or 3/4 of the way around your heart before you fluff it, stuff it with fluff. And then go ahead and finish all the way here. Come all the way to where you started again, and then watch the next video to see how to finish your stitches. If you'd like to see it one more time, we're gonna do it right here again. We're gonna go from the back, poke it through, pull it through the fabric. It's being a little stubborn. Okay, and we're gonna pull it almost all the way through until we have that loop. And then we're gonna push this down through the loop, and then we'll pull this tight again. And now you can see we have our third stitch. All right guys, here we are ready to finish our hearts. So we've got all the way around with our thread, and we are now at the end where we're about to finish. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna keep going with our stitches until right there we fill that middle space. Got our loop, pushing it through. There we are. We now have filled up the space clear all the way around. But to end it, we're gonna poke our needle back through the same spot where this first stitch is at. And that way we can make it look continuous and there's no space right here. So we're gonna poke it through right there. And then we're gonna pull it through. Put it through the loop and then pull it. Now it looks continuous. Now to end the stitch, I'm gonna show you a way to hide your thread so nobody sees it. So, if all else fails, all you gotta do is tie 2 knots. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna poke our needle underneath this thread here. That way we're tying our knots and anchoring it into the thread and not the fabric. They will be a lot tighter, and we're gonna push it through right here. They will be a lot tighter and they won't come loose as easily if we pull them through the thread. Okay, so we've got this loop here. We've got it underneath. We're gonna poke the needle back through. And this is our first knot. Now we're gonna do it again through the thread, not the fabric. Poke it under the thread. Pull it till we've got this little loop. And then we're gonna, just like a normal knot, put it through the loop. And make that second knot. Pull it down tight. There we are. Now this is not gonna go anywhere. Our last thing that we're gonna do to hide our thread is, you saw that we took 2 pieces of fabric, right? And we just stitched it together. I want you to take your needle and poke it in between the 2 pieces of fabric. Not straight down like this, but like into it. So your needle's gonna go into where this fluff is. So we're gonna go through the 2 pieces right there. You can see the inside. We're gonna go through the 2 pieces and into the middle. See, not coming out either side of the ends because it's in the middle of the heart. And I want you to get that to come out right in the center. Just squish it in, come it right out. And we're gonna grab the needle and we're gonna pull all of the rest of our thread through. Now you can see where it goes in, but now it's more or less hidden. We're gonna pull it just a little bit more. Take your scissors and get close to the fabric and cut the thread. And then stretch your heart out. And now there is no tail showing where our thread is at. And it's hidden. All right, that's it guys, thanks.